My name is Francis Masi, the UNIPOD manager. Some people they will refer to UNIPOD as an innovation hub. Some will refer to it as an innovation space, kitchen, design kitchen. But basically, for us, we look at ourselves as a maker space, a space where innovators, both students and non-students, can get access to mentorship, can get access to equipment that can assist them to basically materialize their different innovations that they are working on. We understand that we have so many innovators that are doing so many innovations, but you can agree with me that most of these innovations, you only see them on the social medias. I could say maybe 90% of the times, you would see that most of these innovations, you will not see them being used on the society. In other words, they'll just end up in their wardrobes. They'll just end up in their labs without people basically trying to enjoy the benefit of that innovation. So for us, we look at an innovation as something that has to be developed, something that has to be creative. It may be new or not, but the end goal of an innovation is basically to bring impact. So the impact has to be key. Through a number of research that we did, we noticed that most of the times these challenges come to be because most of these innovators, they lack the equipment that can help them to basically push or materialize their prototypes to become tangible products. So we tried to procure through UNDP to get equipment that could basically, to some extent, support some level of what we call as a small-scale manufacturing. In other words, we can produce products that have a good finish. So it means those innovations that have ended at that prototype level, coming to the UNIPOD now, they will now come back to life. We also have what we call as the Technology Transfer Office, right here in the UNIPOD. So the Tech Transfer Office, basically, we focus much on the commercialization of the different innovations. It's more or less like an office where they can get guidance and counseling to say, looking at the technology you have developed in the UNIPOD, I think the best way for you to take in this is maybe you go through licensing, or maybe you can do a startup, or maybe you can just sell it off once and basically just use the money for something else. So the Technology Transfer Office here in the UNIPOD is supporting issues to do with commercialization, number one. Number two, it is also supporting the aspect of protection. We want to make sure that we keep all the technologies and innovations that are happening in the country to be kept in-house. We do not want to hear maybe a technology that has been developed in Malawi being developed somewhere else. So the Technology Transfer Office is like, it helps to facilitate the protection, patenting of various innovations through the Office of the Registrar General here in Malawi. Apart from that, we also have what we call as a business nursery in the UNIPOD. So the business nursery focuses much on entrepreneurship. From the onset, as they are coming up with their ideas, we want them to have a business mindset. We want them to think business. How can I make money out of this? So from the ideation stage, where they're basically coming up with an idea, through the business nursery, we incubate these innovators. So they get counseling or they get guidance, soft skills, such as how to approach a customer. You'll see most engineers or maybe most technical people, they'll develop a good product. You ask them to say, what is your next plan? They'll say, I don't know. Why? Because they do not have the business mindset. So the business nursery is there to support them and guide them to basically go through the entrepreneurship cycle. From the beginning, the UNIPOD, when it was being set up, the idea behind was we basically have to provide services, provide mentorship and support to local Malawians who are being innovative. Basically providing them with the mentorship, one. Number two is also to provide them with the equipment that they can use to materialize those ideas they have to become products. We also had to consider the aspect of sustainability to say, yes, today UNDP is there for us. They are funding us pretty much on all the programs and everything, and so much thanks to them. But we also have to consider the sustainability of the space itself to say, how can it stand on its own? So because of that, we opened up another division of the UNIPOD. So you can look at the UNIPOD at the moment now as operating using what we call as the dual operational model. One arm is serving the public for public good. The other arm is serving the public, just as any normal business can function. So with that business arm, we have a number of services that we do. The first one we do is contract fabrication. So contract fabrication, we look at those companies, those entrepreneurs, SMEs, they lack maybe certain machinery that we UNIPOD have, or they lack certain expertise that we UNIPOD have, that we can be able to do some products for them, and then they come and buy and then take them to their companies. I'll give an example of a recent client with whom we have worked with quite a lot, Ijenko, Nkula. We managed to fabricate some pieces for their machines. They're basically bushes. So those bushes are basically placed in their machines as part of the power generation. And Ijenko was able to pay us some money for the job that we did. Another service that we offer in the UNIPOD is industrial specific trainings. Most of the syllabuses that we're using at the moment, if we were to compare with the way technology is today, you see that they are basically, I could say they are old school. So with UNIPOD now being at a university, we're saying, why don't we capitalize on the equipment that we have, capitalize on the expertise we have, and offer trainings, paid trainings to various companies, various professionals to basically get certification for various modules or programs. So with that, it means when they come, they'll be paying the UNIPOD, and the UNIPOD can basically generate some revenue as well through those trainings. We also have another service we do, which we call product development, where we can basically just develop a product off the shelf. We develop it, and then we put it on the market. People will like it, and they'll buy. But we also have another one that we're calling as consultancy, where we can provide expert opinion or advice to various stakeholders or companies, especially those that are in the field that the UNIPOD is also focusing on. So we also have the last one, which is industrial repairs. So we can also repair electronic equipment, we can repair mechanical equipment, and as of now, we have basically repaired a number of equipments and machinery that various clients has brought to the UNIPOD. And of interest is that most of the times, these repairs that we do, you will see that some of these would have maybe gone around various shops around the country, but they have failed to fix them. But with the equipment that we have here and the expertise we have, we're able to repair even complex equipment. And even to an extent that with the electronics fabrication space we have in the UNIPOD, we're able to produce motherboards. So we can customize some motherboards that have maybe probably failed and produce a new one which can be used as a replacement for various technologies. So in the UNIPOD, as you see, it's basically an all-in-one space where everything that you need you find. Access to the UNIPOD is, you can look at it like it's in two ways. The first way is any person, be it a student, non-student, even from the rural areas, wherever you are, as long as you're a Malawian or you're an innovator, you can basically come to the UNIPOD and access it through membership. So there are membership categories that we have in the UNIPOD. So you can basically join according to the category that you fall under. And there's a fee attached as mentioned. That's number one. Number two, you can also access the UNIPOD through our various programs. So on the public division, as I said before, there are two divisions. So on the public side, we have programs that we do in the UNIPOD. So sometimes through those programs, let's say internships, or maybe you have won a grant, by default, by just getting a grant from UNIPOD, automatically you become a member of the UNIPOD. Another way of how you can access the UNIPOD is through the enterprise services, which I mentioned. That's under the business division, where you come as a client, just as you would go to any shop. You come in as a client, and basically we fabricate something and we give it to you. So that's basically how we can get clients to come to the UNIPOD. I would say we're not expensive because of two things. One, you would want to buy, let's say, a certain product. That's the same product you can get from China. The same product you can also get it here. But if you to get the product from China, you should also have to look at the aspect of time, shipping fees, and all those, right? And then it will get here maybe after 2 or 3 weeks, or even a month. And now this issue of Forex now also puts it like a bigger problem now to say, where do you get the enough Forex to you to get such kind of products? Here in Malawi, with the same kwacha, you can come here and you procure that thing. The same day you get it, you go. You see? So yes, we may say the actual price of the product may be different because of obviously maybe other countries, maybe the prices might be on the lower side, but you also have to consider the aspect of time. You have to consider the aspect of having that flexibility that you can basically also produce custom-made products. Because if you buy from outside, you basically buy it as it is. But if you come here, you have the liberty to meet the engineers themselves to say, I want this product, but I want you to tweak it here and tweak it here so that it can be this way, this way, and this way. And that possibility is there. So the flexibility is also important. That's why we say that here in the Unipod, you would have that flexibility to basically do a number of custom-made designs, but also you get the things on time, and also you keep the money in the country. So it's also a plus for the country as well, instead of just buying from outside. So yes, the price is not too much, but you also have to consider these other benefits that come into play when you work with us. So you might be wondering to say, now how does Unipod manage to do all these things? What are the various equipment that we have? So first things and foremost is we'll look at the specific labs that we have in the Unipod, right? The first lab that we have in the Unipod is the computer lab. So the computer lab has been equipped with high performance computers. And these computers we're talking about are computers that have quite complex specs that can support or run softwares that are basically so intricate that they'll basically maybe some machines will actually slow down. But our machines can run those complicated softwares without any dragging. Now with this era of AI, the youth are basically looking forward to training models and so on. Our machines were also brought in and tailored to support such kind of aspects of machine learning, computer animation, all those things that the youth would think of that they can do on the computer, our machines can run. We also have our own server in the Unipod. So if you're an innovator that is doing, let's say, a software that has to be hosted somewhere, you will not host it anywhere, you will host it here. We also have a server that we can host such kind of systems. That's the first space we have, the computer lab. The second one we have is the digital creative arts. So in the digital creative arts lab, we are supporting 5 functions. Number 1 is the aspect of virtual reality. So you know these days, if you cannot have something physically, then why don't you build it in the virtual world? You can basically simulate and think as if you have it when you don't have it. So with VR, it spans in so many applications. When you look at construction, you can use VR for construction. You can put on those glasses and you visualize how your house is going to look like. Even appreciate the doors and everything, even before the house is built. So with VR, we can do so much. Even in health, we can also apply virtual reality systems. But apart from VR, we're also supporting the aspect of music. So we have a fully fledged musical studio here. If you want to record songs, music, and more importantly, you just don't want to record music, but you also want to enjoy the benefit of using actual equipment, sound equipment, like guitars, pianos, violins. We have all those in the Unipod. So you can go old school, not being digital, but you can use the actual equipment to record your music. We have all those here in the Unipod. But apart from that, we also focus on the aspect of game development. So in game development, we want the youth to develop games. So we have also computers that can support, even including the softwares that they can use for game development. The other aspect that we also do in the digital creative arts lab is stone caving. So we do have stone caving in the Unipod. We also have wood caving, and also we also have aspect of reverse engineering. We have 3D scanners in the Unipod. So with 3D scanners, you can basically take a commercial product, you use the 3D scanner to scan the product and get a virtual or a drawing, a 3D model of whatever product you are trying to scan. So that's the digital creative arts lab. And most also not forgetting is we also support art, painting in the Unipod as well. So this next lab we have is the mechanical lab, which basically has quite sophisticated machines, CNC machines, computer numerical control machines. So these machines, we have 5-axis and we also have 3-axis CNC machines. So no matter how complex your design is, these machines are able to make. And these are the machines that we use to make the Ijenko pieces for Nkula. The other lab that we have is the rapid prototyping. So in the rapid prototyping, you can look at it as a plastic manufacturing lab, because basically what we have there are basically just plastic manufacturing machines. We have 3D printers, state-of-the-art 3D printers, SLA machines that can produce a product of size 500 by 500. So whatever model you have, no matter how complex it is, as long as it's within 500 by 500, these machines are able to build. We also have the wood workshop. So wood workshop also supports furniture production, and so on. Then we also have the last lab, which we are calling as the electronics lab. So the electronics lab, now this is a lab that manufactures motherboards. And it's not just about manufacturing, we are able to manufacture the motherboard and even assemble. So what we're trying to say here is that green board that you see in radios, you see in computers, we have the lab that can produce that green plate itself. And adding on that, we also have the machines that can also place the components on the board themselves. So we can manufacture the board, we can also assemble the board. And we all have all that in the UNIPOD. So you see, the machines we have in the UNIPOD are quite complex, quite good, and we're looking forward to so many youth and so many Malawians to come and enjoy. Together, we can move forward. We are only here to provide the facility. You are there to come and utilize them and make your dreams come true.